Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage, Mike Zakarian.
Good morning. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the NBA Bit, where today we're going to talk about games that will have no meaningful impact, because that's what last night was. Good Lord. Shout outs to those who tuned into a little late night playback, I think, with our guy Weisberg. We got no basketball action tonight, so we can actually digest the weekend of the playoffs. And then the playoffs will get started on, we still have the last of the play-in on Friday, and then the first round gets going Saturday, and then Sunday, we'll have a lot of fun content coming at you. Just some housekeeping stuff real quick off the top. If you missed yesterday's 89 Cavs, that was a fun one. Go check that out. It was right here on this channel. A little bit later today at noon Eastern, we're going to be talking baseball. SORARE MLB will be on the Elite Fantasy Sports channel to get us ready for Game Week 7, which locks up tomorrow. So that should be pretty fun. So go tune into that as well. And then, of course, no NBA Bit tomorrow, I don't think, because I don't think we'll have a freaking thing to talk about unless something crazy happens. And then the other thing that we'll plug here quickly, if you guys have been hanging around on Splash Sports at all, we got a fun little sponsored guaranteed contest, which was kind of cool. We got some artwork. Look at us over here. Look at that. We've been growing. Look at the NBA Bit. We've got tiers, right? They guaranteed a $1,000 prize pool for the weekend. So if you've been waiting to get involved, go check that out. It maxes out at 223 entrants. We've got 50 some odd already, but this is pretty cool of Splash Sports to do it. So that was exciting. People are ready for 420. Yeah, I'm sure we'll have some. When's 420? Is that Sunday? Oh yeah, the Easter Sunday. I'm sure we'll be doing some playoff stuff. We'll be on the playback for some playoff stuff. But anyways, if you haven't messed around with Splash Sports yet, go hang out. This will be a Saturday contest. We won't be doing this all the time. We'll probably keep them, like, we've been actually getting up to about 80 entrants or so. Last night I took down a little bit of cash. I think I came in 4th or 5th or something like that. So anyways, go check that out. Go check that out if you haven't done it yet. Shout out our guy Stubbs, who's been grinding the Splash Sports stuff. We'll take a look at this contest towards the end of the show. But let's talk a little bit about last night. We had 2 games, right? We had the Dallas Mavericks and the Sacramento Kings. We also had the Chicago Bulls and the Miami Heat. And I just want to say, guys, listen, if you were using last night's game to make a point, you should stop it. All right. I saw people there's a small facet of people who are still saying, hey, you know what? I kind of see what Nico's doing here. I kind of like what the Dallas Mavericks are doing. Listen, if you can't use last night's game, you can't use a 9 and 10 seed between 2 teams who had already at least Googled flights to Cancun and be like, I think there's a chance. Okay. Because both of those games, like, yes, Dallas and Miami could win one more game and then go fire up the first round of the playoffs. OKC and the Cleveland Cavaliers are going to make quick work of both of those teams. But let's talk about it. Let's get into it. The Mavies and the Kings, baby. The Mavies and the Kings. Dallas gets a W there. Anthony Davis looked like he was the best player on the court. 27 and 9 from him. You got PJ gave him 17 and 9. How about Klay Thompson, though? An efficient freaking Klay, 23 points, 5 boards, went 5 for 7 from 3. If you remember, last year's dialogue was about how bad Klay was during an elimination game and just couldn't shoot the ball, right? Well, Klay came back when it mattered most in the 9-10 game. Honestly, it was kind of nice seeing Klay cook a little bit. It was. But Sacramento gave up, bro. They gave up. So they fired their GM freaking immediately. While you were snoozing, they already fired Monty McNair. DeRozan had 33 and 7 there. Levine had 20 and 9. And then Sabonis 11, 13 and 5. Sabonis looked like checked out. I mean, I know Dallas defensively can like muck things up with the bigs, right? Because they did have the 3-headed monster of AD, Lively, and Daniel Gafford. If we look at Gaffey played 21 minutes. Lively started. He played 18 minutes, so he was still capped. Yeah, I don't know. Again, these teams are both like two teams that I just don't think have a legitimate future. I think one of the nice things about or one of the nice bit of reporting that came out during the game last night, which I swear to God, Nico or Patrick Dumont slid some cash over to Shams because they just like throwing out some good news here. Shams said Kyrie has a target date of January that he's supposed to be coming back. If that is true, if Kyrie can really come back full hog, good to go in January, only miss a couple of months of the regular season, I think the Dallas Mavericks might be okay. If Kyrie is really out until like February or March, I think it's a different story. Because we're going to be seeing more of this roster. Because as Tim McMahon noted from that secret press conference that happened the other day, they have no moves, man. And DJP, great point. We can actually talk a little bit about that now about like this offseason. So, and I know the Dallas Mavericks still have one more game at least as they'll take on the Memphis Grizzlies on Friday. Kyrie has I believe a player option. I believe he's an unrestricted a player option heading into the offseason. And Kyrie now has all of the leverage in the world because if another team, and the injury shakes it up a little bit, right? It maybe takes away, 10% of the leverage that he had to throw out random numbers. And like if Kyrie decides, hey man, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here anymore. Dallas is screwed if they don't give him all the money that he wants because Dallas has no moves, right? They don't have really in control of any of their first round picks. They don't have a lot of assets that they can move off of, right? And the Nico Harrison stuff was crazy. I mean, there was a quote that came out where they were like pushing him a little bit, being like, hey, why did you attach a pick to the Quentin Grimes versus Caleb Martin trade? And they just kept going on. And I mean, it's just every answer they gave, it just gets dumber and dumber. And I really do not understand the vision of this squad. And I really do think they're in trouble. But anyways, Kyrie's going to have some leverage. A couple other big names too. James Harden has a player option heading into next year. And the one that I was most interested in, and which most people probably won't be, is Chris Middleton. He is a player option. And I wonder if he like opts in to make sure he gets the biggest amount of cash there, because he's probably getting more money from that 1-year deal than in a multi-year deal because of the injury history and all of that stuff, right? But I wonder if he like opts in and then tries to get traded or something like that, because I don't think he's long for Washington, right? And I feel like that if he is healthy, is definitely someone playoff teams would target come trade deadline. So he probably does opt in. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. The reason I was taking a look at that this morning was we're going to be dropping a new Celtics video later this afternoon on the Celtics Daily channel, and just talking about potential offseason moves for Boston. And I was just looking at some of those teams that are potentially unrestricted, restricted free agents, all that stuff. So go check that out later. Yeah, Stan, I did say the Bulls were dangerous. I didn't say they were going to win. I think I gave Bam a little bit of love. Yo, we'll talk about that game in a second. Tyler Herro. Whoo! Herro is cooking. But let's finish up here on this game. Kings, I don't know what their future holds, man. They traded for the Chicago Bulls, and they let like Fox is gone. They got Doug Christie. Remember, everybody was like, "Ooh, Doug Christie, what a hire! We got to keep him for good. Turn the Kings around. Turn the Kings around." And then they ended up being sub 500. So I don't know what the future holds for them. I think they do have a little bit of a bright spot of their rookie, Devin Carter. He played 22 minutes last night, had 10 and 4. But, he's a bright spot if you have a competitive team, right? Where somebody's like, oh, you come in, play 18 to 20 minutes, defend the hell out of the ball. But, man, like you got Sabonis. I saw a tweet from Nate Duncan from the not Locked On, from the Dunked On Media Empire, and he tweeted out, it was pretty good. He said, come on, where is it? All right, he said, he was giving some Brandon Williams love. God damn it. Where is he tweeted a lot last night. He was getting into his feelings, but it was something about Sabonis and just being like, we can't do. Wow, I can't find it now. But he was basically just saying you're not going to be able to contend with a guy like Sabonis. Here is a reminder. Oh, here it is. I don't care how many points, rebounds and assists he puts up in the regular season. Domantas Sabonis just isn't a difference-making player to a high-level team, showing why that's true again tonight. And, we like Sabone. We are Saboner fans. But it does show, if he can't be the main guy. We called him Jokic light, but that's where you see the difference, right? One is stats, the other is results. And I don't know what their moves are. DJP was saying, do you think he gets traded? I mean, you could see it, but the Kings made so many win now moves, man, that I don't know what they do. I really don't. And it's just, I feel so bad for that fan base, right? Because you had that 1 year run where they're the 2 seed. They were lighting the beam like 50 times throughout the entire regular season. They had an incredible series against the Golden State Warriors where it did really look like they were going to come away from that series, and then Sabonis gets curb stomped. Golden State, Steph Curry goes in to Sacramento on Game 7, gets the W and moves on. But the thing you got to remember about Sacramento that season, and we talked about it a couple of times in real time, and then as we started to project the following season, the Kings had run pure, just completely pure health-wise that season. Their starting 5 played more regular season games than any other team in the league. And the West that year, there was a lot of parity. Everything was pretty close, but you had a lot of teams battling some injuries that season. And so, I don't know, it was just kind of a little bit of fool's gold, I think. And then they panicked a little bit because they finally got a taste of 2 things. Of winning, but also that playoff revenue, baby. And they thought, they pushed their chips in, and then all of a sudden, the bottom falls out with Mike Brown. De'Aaron Fox is like, should I stay or should I go now? And they force him to San Antonio. They get a whack-ass return. And let's not forget. I remember a lot of you in the chat. It's actually a pretty good deal. It's actually a pretty good deal for Sacramento. Weisberg came on this show, remember? And we were like, absolutely not. This team is worse now. DJP said Fox forced his way to the Spurs. What ended up happening here, there's been some reporting about this. Fox basically said, if you are trading me, you are trading me to San Antonio. But I don't think there's anywhere early on where Fox said, I'm done playing for y'all. But anyways, Lozatron says, where does Sabonis go if he wants to get traded? I can't see any contending teams wanting to get out there, go out of their way for him. No, I agree with you. Again, going back to that Nate Duncan tweet, I think the blueprint of how to stop a Sabonis-led team is out there. Do we think the Pacers won the Halliburton trade? Oh, wait, Stan. That's a Stan take, right? Stan loves you still in there. You still in there, Stan? Stan was a big Sabonis. Kings won the trade. I remember that. Vuvuzela says, I think the Mavs will face OKC, not because they are great, but because the Grizz are quite down physically and emotionally. Yeah, I mean, again, I think it is pretty important to not take anything away from these games tonight. Both of these teams, all 4 teams that played tonight have no real upside. You have teams that are so clearly not interested in trying right now, So, the Kings had given up. But let's go let's talk about Bulls, the Bulls and the Miami Heat. And let's give Miami some love here. Tyler Herro was incredible last night. Tyler Herro was awesome. And let's start with the drop while I pull the box score up. Yeah, he said I ain't resigning, but that's different than forcing his way out. And why take back? You can say they weren't going to get 100 cents on the dollar in that trade, right? You can say that, but why take on the contracts of DeRozan and Levine in the same season? What are you doing? Grow up. All right, let's get a not you, the Kings I'm talking about. Let's get a Tyler Herro deal. Look at my boy Herro here. How about this? Starts the game 8 for freaking 8. That Chicago defense, that's something else, baby. Finishes the game with 38 whole-ass points, 5 boards, 4 dimes, and a steal. 7 turnovers, but whatevs. We talked about it during the 89 Cavs show. Towards the end, we were doing some some of the awards quickly. And I gave, again, Stan, that piece of shit, gave him a little bit of a shout out because he was right. I was overlooking Tyler Herro as potentially a most improved player. And I think it's because I already subconsciously value him as a really good player. And so I'm like, are we really rewarding a really good guy getting a little bit better? But I think that is a good call. First time All-Star. That was a really good call. Also, Andrew Wiggins reminding people that he can be good. He had 20 points, 9 boards, 2 dimes, 2 steals. And then, listen, similarly to Sabonis, we were reminded of the Josh Giddey stuff, right? And Josh Giddey is great. I really do think he is a good basketball player. I think he can be an important player on a competitive team. This is not the team. But this is a reminder that like you can get slowed down. Like he did put up 25, 10, and 4. And if you're just looking at the box score, you're like, pretty good game. 2 for 7 from 3, 9 for 21. And he didn't have the same dominance and control of the flow of the game that we saw in in their win streak run, right? You see here that Miami put up almost 40 points in the first quarter, dropping 39 in the first, so they were up by 11, then outscore them by 13 in the second, 32-19, and then it was curtains. Like, yeah, Chicago outscored them in the third quarter, but it didn't matter. Kobe White gave him 17. Let's go back up to, did Bam do anything last night? I thought we were going to get a really good Bam game, and Bam did not do much. He had 15 and 12, but again, like, held him defensively, did all right, And then Davion Mitchell did not get the start because I was wondering if he was going to, but he did play 33 minutes, right? He was the big bench getter, had 15 and 9 with a steal and a block. So good win for Miami. Miami moves on. They'll be taking on the Atlanta Hawks in this 8-9 matchup. For the 8 seed. I guess it is. No, it's 8-10. Whatever. Either way. And I don't really know what to make of it here. Did I freeze up a little bit? Can you guys see me okay? That's weird. My computer StreamYard's being a little weird. I don't think there's a real shot in hell that Atlanta can get this done. You know what I mean? I really don't. I don't think Atlanta has a chance at this. They clearly have just like given up, right? They've just called it quits. Oh, thank you. They've just called it quits. What we saw from Trae Young in that game where he got double teed up, and then all the dialogue around that after the fact was, did Trae Young play his last game with Atlanta? I was trying to think about like what the potential Atlanta moves would be with Trae, like who is going out of their way to get Trae. I know the Bill Simmons podcast talked a little bit about like Orlando making sense as a fit just because, Orlando is so desperate for guard play, but I don't really know. Like it feels like no matter what team we're talking about today, we're like, what contender is really going out and getting them? Like whether it's Sabonis, Josh Giddey, or Trae Young, like where do they fit? I think Trae is the best value of those 3 guys. I think Trae can still play winning playoff basketball. We've actually seen it happen, right? We've seen that Atlanta Hawks run, whether you think that was fluky or not. They went to the Eastern Conference Finals. Maddie was saying Trae Young to Sacramento. I mean, why not? Let's send Giddey and Trae Young to Sacramento. Let's send them all over there. All the problematic, I guess problematic. Send them all to Sacramento. But I feel pretty comfortable saying Miami takes this one. I feel pretty comfortable saying that Tyler Herro and Bam on the road, whatever. I think it's a tough matchup for Atlanta, but Miami can play a little bit slower, play a little bit more defensive-minded. Atlanta turns the ball over a lot. I could see Davion Mitchell just wreaking havoc again on Friday. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Miami is going to be taking on Cleveland in the first round. And I think I like Cleveland in that one. Is that a hot take for you? Is that a hot take? That they I think Cleveland in 4, maybe 5. Does Miami steal one? Does Bam give them problems? I don't think so. I do think Tyler Herro could cook in that series, though. I don't think Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland are slowing down our guy Herro, but I don't think the Miami matches up well. So give me the Caves. Give me the Caves. I'll say 5 just for vibes. I'll say 5s and 5 and vibes. I think my favorite take so far when I was thinking about the first round is that On the East side, 1 and 2 seeds go 8-1 in the first round. I think we'll get one sweep and 1 5-game series. On the West, I think it's a little bit more interesting. Memphis is dinged up. I don't like Zach Edey against Anthony Davis. I don't know. DJP was saying, do you think Miami will try to lose because of the pick? Like, listen, the front office can say things like that. I don't think Eric Spoelstra is built like that. I don't think he's going to lose intentionally. And you want to know why we know that? Because Kel'el Ware wasn't playing 35 minutes a game starting in December, right? He was still resting him down the stretch or resting him in crunch time. And if they were trying to lose, they would have been developing their young guys a little bit more aggressively. That's not what they're doing. You're seeing that same thing with Jaime Jaquez. The fact, and whether he's sleeping with ex-Spoelstra's ex-wife or not, he would have been playing more if they were trying to develop and trying to lose games. So I know that they would do that to get their pick, but I don't see that happening. Memphis too. I believe, is their pick going to the Wizards? Was that part of the Marcus Smart deal, the offloading of my boy Wicked Smart? So I don't think Memphis would be trying to lose either. I think, listen, I know it's probably fun to be like, well, Memphis fired their coach, whatever. Memphis, I think, is going to beat Dallas. I don't think Dallas has enough offensive firepower, no matter how big they are down low, to run with Memphis, unless Ja is really, hurt. But he's a young man, and it seems like that ankle healed quickly. So I think I would take Memphis against OKC. And you know what? I freaking hope so, because outside of the fact that Dallas has OKC's number, I know that is true, but not this Dallas team. Not Najee Marshall's led Dallas Mavericks. So I'd rather watch Memphis OKC. Also, that would probably only be 4 games, though. Yeah, and Atlanta's pick goes to the Spurs in that from the remnants of that DeJounte Murray deal, right? I think. So anyways, there we go. That was last night's play in action. It was pretty bad basketball all the way around. And again, I if you took anything away from that, it's just that those teams are bad. I think I want to make another rule. I don't think you should be allowed to review plays in the 9-10 game. The 8-9 game, sure. The 9-10 game, I think we get rid of reviews, because you can't be slowing those games down. When those games are ass, I do think it's weird. I feel like maybe at the beginning of okay, that's my first rule, no reviews. My second rule, I think we need to, before the playoffs, we get to vote if there's a play-in or not. So the Western Conference, like Golden State, Memphis, I kind of want to see that play-in game. I don't want to see Dallas, Sacramento. I don't want to see the Eastern Conference play-in. I think we vote every year. If there's a lot of parity, if it's close, if it's good basketball, let's vote for the play-in. Let's make it democratic. This is America and Canada. Maybe Mexico City soon, too. I think we got to do it. Matic Otto said the percent chance that Nico was right, non-zero. So I'll give you a sub 1%. There's no world. Unless Luka gets JFK'd, there's no way. There's no way Dallas wins that. It's a dumb trade. It was a dumb win now trade. It's a dumb win later trade. They have no assets moving forward to make some moves. They're hamstrung around aging stars and Kyrie Irving, who is coming off an ACL, which you didn't know that at the time, and Anthony Davis, which you did know he was hurt at the time. That's the only way. It's the only way. Yeah. Snoopaloop said, do you think the next year they will expand the playoffs? Yeah, I think so. Expand it. Let's get some EuroLeague teams in the playoffs. Why not? Remove the play-in entirely. Listen, call me old school, call me chivalristic. I still like conferences. I like East versus West. I think it's why I like international soccer so much. I want country versus country. But I get what you're saying, though. Like, if you merge conferences, we should, let's keep some of those teams out of the playoffs if you don't think they deserve it. But I don't know. Oh, Snoopaloop said 5-game series. Yeah, let's go. Let's fire your takes here about how you would improve the playoffs. 5-game series are interesting, but man, you think about the Knicks Pistons. I think I want 7 games of that. I want 7 games of Denver Clippers. How about it? Oh, man, what's the best way to do it? If a team goes up 3-0 in the first round, it's over. But if it's 2-1, we're going 7 games. How about that? How about that? So if the Cavs go up 3-1, they don't have to play. I mean, if they go up 3-0, it's over. It's a wrap. We don't have to play game 4. But if it's 2-1, you have to win 4. Honestly, that's great. That is big time. That is big time. No, 5 games for the play-ins. Keep the rest. You guys are sick. You guys, I'm so pissed off right now.
We can't go down this road. We can't talk about like how you need to have had sex in order to have responsibility. I just think it changes you, you know? I think it changes you.
I actually came up with a good idea, and you assholes ruined it. You ruined it. 5 games for the play-in. You sickos. All right, I think we're going to make our official playoff picks here. I think we're going to make our official playoff picks because we were flirting with them for a little bit. We're going to do it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like, because we're not going to do the NBA bit tomorrow, I don't think, unless I'm just bored, man. I could see me being bored and then being like, let's just hang out with my friends, you know? But I think the plan is to just we will do a live before lock for the weekend, the freaking weekend for the playoffs. We will do that. Although I don't know if you guys noticed this, there's a little bug here on SORARE NBA where if you it's showing for the Friday contest people who were playing on Saturday. That seems wrong. All right, let's go look at the bracket. Hey, let's start with the Milwaukee series, which I know is not really make sense. We're not really going in order. Did you guys see Milwaukee Bucks Twitter tweeted out a photo of Dame like at practice? And I don't know if do you think Dame's going to be back? Because they said he's not going to be there for the start of the playoffs. Do you think that wording was important that we're going to see Damian Lillard be there? Like all of a sudden it's game 3, glass breaks, and we're like, good God, is that Damian Lillard's music? And then he's like just comes out. Because I think that's if somehow, the ESPNU is hilarious, man. If you guys didn't see that, we talked about it on 89 Cavs. NBA TV /ESPNU for one of the Pacers Bucks games. Because if all of a sudden, Pacers are up 2-1, let's not even go that far. If the Bucks steal one of the first 2 games, if they steal one of the first 2 games, we're going back to Milwaukee. It's 1-1, and then all of a sudden, I can't whistle. Whatever the Twitter noise is, woohoo, comes out that Shams is like, Dame is playing in game 4. That changes the series quite a bit. I still don't that injury is no joke, man. So I am a little bit nervous if you're saying that Wembanyama shut down for the season. Asar Thompson misses over a year. And now Dame a month later on his blood thinners is like, I'm good to go actually. And yeah, exactly what Tesla said. Is this the most minor blood clot in sports history? That makes me a little bit nervous. I think they're still holding out hope that if somehow the Bucks got through the first round, round 2 doesn't really start for another 2 or 3 weeks, that maybe now Dame has missed almost 2 months, that he's good to go. Maybe that's why they're holding out hope. And maybe this is just some gamemanship, right? That they don't want Rick Carlisle, Mr. Jim Carrey, getting too comfy. So they're saying, hey man, maybe he's back. Yeah, round up the Twitter docs. Let's get somebody that's been on Joe Rogan recently. Tell me what to do here. Robert F. Kennedy, George Lynch. Blood clots aren't even real. That's probably what he's saying right now. Also, that dumb fuck talking about autism is a piece of shit, by the way. I know we're not trying to get political. Shut the fuck. The Kennedy name, we need to go back to the 60s where we knew less about the Kennedys and we could hold them up without knowing anything about them. The wrong one got. That's all I'll say. That dumb piece of shit. Anyways, I'm assuming it's just a smokescreen. Back to that. Yeah, I think so too. And honestly, if you feel differently about your autism takes, don't put those into the chat. I'm not interested in having a conversation with you about it. All right, let's go back to this. I'm assuming Dame's not playing. I'm going Pacers in 5. I'm keeping it there. Yeah, yikes. Welcome to the show, Raise It 77. Welcome to the show. What's up, Alan? Good to see you, sir. Jealous of Cheryl. Cheryl Hines. Oh man. Cue the curb music, bitches. But yeah, give me Pacers in 5. I think Giannis is gonna average 1,000,000 points in this series. I think he's gonna be incredible. I do. I think he's gonna have one of like a historic statistical performance. I just think the Pacers are going to be too much. Again, we're relying a ton on KPJ, a ton on Kyle Kuzma, a ton on Taurean Prince, on Gary Trent Jr. Those should all be seventh men. Everybody that I just listed should be the seventh guy. And they're all going to be options 2 through 7. So I'm going to take the Pacers in this one in 5. Let's get to the Knicks Pistons, though. Yeah, I'm only giving, and that's no disrespect to Giannis, man. I love you. I think Giannis is awesome. I do. I think he's incredible. I think he probably doesn't get enough love, but maybe he will on his next team. Let's go Knicks and Pistons. Knicks and Pistons. My heart wants to pick Detroit. I'm going to be rooting for Detroit, but I think Karl Anthony Towns is going to be a nightmare matchup. A nightmare matchup for Detroit. I think Jalen Brunson, no matter who you throw on him, is going to get his, right? I think this, and I love what Jalen Duren has done this season. The Detroit Pistons actually have defended bigs almost better than anybody else in the league. I actually think like the Celtics and the Bucks are up there, and then it's him. But I think my biggest frustration with this matchup for them is that Karl Anthony Towns is just not that type of big. Right? Cat is going to be able to stretch the floor. He can work you inside. He can work you outside. He'll probably get himself into foul trouble at least one time. I think this is a long series, though. I do think Detroit steals one of the first 2 games. But this to me feels like Knicks in 7. This feels like Knicks in 7 to me. So yeah, that's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Tesla says, what about Pistons going into MSG and winning season series? Did you catch any of those games? Yeah, but I think the playoffs are different. I think you're asking a lot from Cade and his first playoff experience. I mean, the entire Pistons team. I do think there are paths for Detroit to win this series. I mean, I think if Cade becomes like a 35-10 guy because they just, whether it's Bridges, Anunoby, Josh Hart, whoever they throw on him, he's able to just smoke them. I do think that is true. And I think if they're putting so much attention on Cade, that somebody like Tobias Harris pops off for 20 a game, Malik Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr. have a time where they just like shoot 75% from 3, right? I do think there are pathways forward, but I think like the degree of difficulty, the margin for error for Detroit is so much, let's just razor thin, where the Knicks, I think, are like should be and are the favorites. And I think I'm going to say Knicks in 7. But I tell you right now, I will be rooting for Detroit for lots of reasons. Because I think it's a more fun story. I want Justin Catchings to be happy. But I also think I want to play them in the second round as a Celtics fan and not the Knicks. Maddie says people who think Cade can't pull it off in MSG in his first playoff seem to be forgetting Trae Young did. Yeah, I think this Knicks team is way better than what you're describing right there. But you're right. I'm not saying Detroit can't win this series. I will be rooting for it, but I think my lean here is with the Knicks, and I'll say it in 7. I'm going to say Celtics in 5, Cavs in 4. We don't have to talk. I think Paolo and Franz, we already talked about this yesterday. I think they'll average like 55 combined per game, but it's not going to be enough. Let's do the West. Let's do 4-5 Denver, Los Angeles Clippers. I still, as I'm starting this monologue, I do not know what I'm picking yet. I think one thing that made me laugh my ass off yesterday, the Clippers came out and said, I think it was Law Murray, who is the beat writer for the Los Angeles Clippers for The Athletic, came out and said that they were using Ben Simmons to they were defending Ben Simmons, using him in practice as the Jokic role. And right there, that made me want to pick Denver. I don't think that's going to be a good comp for what Joker does. One, Jokic actually takes field goal attempts. That's something Ben Simmons does. No, that was not Centel. That was real. I did not see that from NBA Central. I saw that from following Law Murray. So I think that's a bad sign. I think Jamal Murray is going to remind us that he shows up in the playoffs for whatever reason. I think Jokic is the best player in the world. And I think the Nuggets are going to win this one, and it's going to take 7 whole games. I think it'll go back to LA 1-1. I think it'll go back to Denver 2-2. I think they'll go back to LA, Denver up 3-2, and then it will go back to Denver for game 7. I think it's just each team will win one road game. I think it's going to go 7. Jokic is going to average 35, 14, and 14. Maybe a little less than that. Maybe it'll be like 28, 14, and 14, while Jamal Murray averages like 20 and 9. We'll get at least one Michael Porter Jr. game. We'll get at least one Norman Powell game. And we'll get at least one Bogdan Bogdanovic game. This will be cinema. I'm very excited for this series. And honestly, like, yes, I'm picking Denver in 7. I'm thrilled for whoever wins this series. And I think one of the matchups of the postseason will be the second round, whether it's Denver against OKC, because Denver, again, OKC, a way better team than Denver. But I think Jokic is a specific guy that is tough for anyone to cover, specifically OKC. And then Clippers are just tough enough that I think that would also make OKC work in the second round. Alan says Jokic lose game 7 versus Clippers, be mad, and everyone get traded after averaging 33, 12, and 11. That take is fun too. I'm fine with that as well. And then Vuvuzela is saying that, yeah, it depends if Murray holds physically, but I have more hopes for Kawhi than Murray. Yeah, again, I think it's going to be an awesome series. I think there's so many question marks in both health. It's like whose ACL is going to hold on the longest. But I'm really excited to watch it. I'm really excited for whatever second round comes of that. So I'm going to take Denver. I'm going to take Denver in 7. I'm going to say Lakers in 6 in this one against the Timberwolves. I think Ant will absolutely win them a game. I think Naz Reid and the big boys of Minnesota can absolutely take a game. I just don't know if they can win 4 games against the Lakers. I think like Luka on his own is going to win you 2, and LeBron's absolutely giving you 1. And maybe we get an Austin Reeves game too. I just think the Lakers are just built to beat them. Yeah, Tesla, by the way, yeah, coaching edge to Clips, Lou is a playoff maestro. Yeah, totally agree with that. Also, like, if it was Malone, it would be like a slight edge to Ty Lue, because I do think Malone is still a good in-game coach. But with no Malone, post Malone, they have a massive edge. But yeah, back to the Lakers. I think the Lakers I just don't think this is the right matchup. I think they're going to Naz Reid, again, I already said this, but Naz Reid is going to be the X factor for Minnesota to actually take this to 7 and potentially win this series, because that's how they're going to have to beat them. They're going to have to they're going to have to be so dominant as bigs that the Lakers are incapable of playing small ball. And if Jackson Hayes is playing over 20 minutes a game, Minnesota Timberwolves win the series. If it's under 20 minutes a game, the Lakers win the series. That's my hot take. So if Naz Reid is averaging 28 for the series, Wolves in 6. But I think I'm going Lakers in 6. Lakers in 6. Thunder in 4. And then the last series, Houston Rockets against the Golden State Warriors. And talked a little bit about it yesterday. Golden State opened as huge favorites. Actually, what is let me look this up here. Series betting line, Warriors versus Rockets. Let's see what this is. The most favored outcome in this series is Warriors winning 6 games. Wow. Okay. I'm taking Houston in this series, and inexperience might come out and rear its ugly head as just like a playoff team, right? And I'm not really concerned about it. I'm not really concerned about that. I mean, I guess I'm a little concerned about their offense in the last 4 minutes of a game, but I think between what Fred VanVleet's experience, Dylan Brooks' experience, and the way that they're going to be able to just big boy the Golden State Warriors, I don't really think they have an answer unless Steph Curry averages 40 a game. I mean, like, listen, if they get to the line, if the whistle is loose early on and we're seeing Jimmy and Steph average 30 free throw attempts a game, which is what we saw them do against Memphis the other night. If that happens, then sure, Golden State takes a series. And if Adam Silver makes the call and says, hey, I want Lakers and Warriors in round 2, sure. But I just think the way that Houston can at least slow Steph down, they have enough bodies to throw at both Steph and Jimmy. And then I think they were Hoop Collective was pointing it out yesterday with Brian Windhorst, Tim McMahon, and Tim Bontemps was talking about like their offensive rebounding rate is something like 54% when Steven Adams and Sengun are on the floor together, which means they're almost half of their shots they're getting another opportunity with. And that is not against teams like Golden State. And now we just saw Golden State get big boyed by Edey, who pulled down 17 boards. So I don't know. I think I'm leaning Houston in this one. I'm going to say I think if it goes to 7, I'd be nervous, and then I'd want Golden State in a game 7, even though they'd be on the road. So I don't know. I feel like it has to be Houston in 6, even though that's closing out a series on the road, which is probably even harder. But I just think they're too big. I think they're too physical. Steve Kerr clearly doesn't have a handle on his rotation, right? It's been a little funky. Vibes seem they don't seem like where they were a month ago. So I don't know. I'm taking Houston there. I'm taking Houston. So that's my first round prediction. So we got Cavs in 4, or what did I say? 5. Cavs and Celtics combined 8-1. We've got Pacers in 5. We've got Knicks in 7. We've got Nuggets in 7. Lakers in 6. Houston in 6. OKC in 4. I'm sorry, Memphis, Dallas, whomever. They're not taking them. They're not taking them. So there you have it, boys and girls. Hey, just a reminder here. We're firing up SORARE MLB today at noon. A little bit earlier in the day, we're going to talk baseball for the upcoming weekend. And then I mentioned this earlier, but we have that Sick Splash Sports sponsored content. We got 1K guaranteed, boys and girls. 1K guaranteed. Look at that. They put some artwork there. Shout out to the good people of Splash Sports for setting that up for us. How many entrants we got right now? 57. This doesn't lock until Saturday. And again, depending on how bored I am tomorrow, maybe we're back. We'll have to wait and see. Too big, never been a problem for Chef. Pause. All right, we're going to call it there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you have a great little Thursday. Kind of feels like Friday. 12 o'clock, Elite Fantasy Sports will be over there. We'll have a SORARE NBA show tomorrow. I'm sure we'll just have more sweet content. Have a good day. Enjoy the sunshine if you're on the East Coast. It's a beautiful day. We're out of here.